Welcome back, everybody. This is Dren608 and another Dren608 Plays. It's been a while since I've done any videos on Unconditional Surrender Europe, designed by uh, Salvatore. We call him Sal. Um, it's created by GMT Games, published by GMT Games, I should say. It is a board game. This is the board game arena um, implementation of it. There are a few things that are not exactly as in the board game, and a couple of things that are fringe cases that can be problems with the game, where you have to kind of do workarounds to get around it. But otherwise, it's very much like, I would say it's 99% implemented just as the board game was meant to be. I'm going to go through the main event as best as I can. I'm going to try to do it relatively quickly. I will be talking about what I'm trying to do and pointing out things that have changed in the game and the new rules, which the game will show you as we progress. I've already set things up. It's wide open, free setup. So I set up the Germans. I put an armored unit up here because it requires the Poles to guard a bit over here. And then set up to basically take out Poland. I'm going to go west first. I'm going to do the one I'm most comfortable with. I've seen several games recently. I'm actually in one where it's the policy game on Board Game Geek, which you can find in the Unconditional Surrender forums, where we're doing an East first, and there's a couple of games in the Unconditional Surrender main event league that are also East firsts. So there are some interesting East firsts out there, but I'm going to go with what I know best, which is going on the Western faction, trying to take out France as fast as possible while building up some allies to help me take out the Soviet Union, collapse it so that I'll have a huge amount of willpower, and then just hanging on till the end of the game. So we'll see how well this works. So let's go. We're going to declare on the Western faction. And then with free setup, we always declare war on Denmark. Denmark, there's not really a good way to set up. I usually set them up here. And then on Poland as well. Now the Polish setup is, there's no good way to do this, to be perfectly honest. I usually put a garrison here. He'll die, but it'll cost him 3 movement points to do it. And then Prussia, I usually set here because I don't want the Germans to run that armored around. Posen, I put in Posen. Krakow, where's Krakow? Krakow I usually put here. And I will put Lodz in Lodz. And now these here, I put them in front of Warsaw. And then I try to put this guy like here because I'm trying to prevent isolation in Posen. And we do that, and we're done. The British can give points. There's really no point to it, but they'll give some points to the Poles just for kicks. You can do a strategic movement with the Germans. There's nothing for me to do. Just to give you a quick picture over here. Pause the video if you want to look. I set up the German infantry here to prevent him from doing too much movement on me. And then I have the first here who's going to go try to take out Denmark with an airplane. All while I'm trying to take out this over here. Now, if you made a slight mistake with the Poles, you can, kind of try and adjust it a little bit with a strategic movement or whatever. But I've never seen anything really to do that, any reason to do that. I also have the French set up to intervene like in Norway. If the Germans go after Norway, You can try to intervene in Denmark, but it's usually not worth it. You end up just losing the unit through the winter months, and it doesn't really help you until West invaded to get anybody in Copenhagen or whatever. So it's usually not worth the time. So don't think there's really anything for me to do. The French are pretty much set up the way they're going to be set up. And the Soviets, I set them up. This is a setup I use anticipating an East first situation, which did not come to pass because they declared on the West, so I'll be moving them around a little bit. Now we get to go to the Germans' September turn here. And this is going to be straightforward. We want to make sure we take this Danzig, and we will use an airplane. The Allies will not waste the ground support here. They're going to use it on their real infantry, not their garrisons. It gets eliminated, but it did cost them 3 movement points to do that. Now, the Germans are going to come down here, and they're going to try and get this garrison as well. Do I need to use an airplane? I think I use an airplane here as well. I got to retreat, so I move forward. I'll attack again. I won't use an airplane in this case. I want to save those for later. And I got lucky and got a DD. Now, I'm not going to take the hex, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm just going to stay right there. Okay, I now have this place isolated, pose in. So I'm going to attack it with this infantry. And I'm going to use, who's this? The third, I'm going to zoom in a little bit into Poland here. So I'm going to use the 3rd Luft, the one in the south. Just see if we can get this. Now you have a choice here. You could use one of your ground supports here to try and slow down the German breakthrough, or you can save them all for the battles around Warsaw. I tend to send one here just to see if I can make him take 2 turns to take it, which I did. So then he'll attack again, and I won't waste one here, and the Germans won't waste an airplane here. They should be able to take it out. Okay, and then they will take the city. And you'll see the Poles are down to 7 willpower now. Now this is where it gets a little bit different, I guess you might say. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the armored to here. I'm going to attack. Notice I'm doing mobile attacks. Mobile attacks are better because you get more attacks. You only do assaults when you only could get away with 1 attack anyway. And I got a DD, which is good for me. Okay, now, hang on a second. I got to pause my game here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to take a phone call there. Anyway, a lot of times you would think to retreat here next to Krakow, but it's actually a trap, I think. There's not a really good... Yes, 4 movement points remaining. Actually, that will be the best thing to do. So he takes loads, he attacks me again. He's +4 to -2, so nobody's going to throw anything in here. You get a retreat. Do not retreat into Krakow because that would let an infantry come up here and like assault it and possibly go through this way. There's probably better to retreat here. And let him attack me again. Probably should have gone in Krakow. It's just another retreat. So we're going to go back here. And the Germans are going to go ahead and go out on a limb here, I think. Okay, we're down to 5, so we've got to get some more of the infantry to get to them. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we're going to attack here. Attack here, we'll use the 4th Luft. Now you have to make a decision here with these guys. Do you use it now, or do you wait? And I think with him only having 3 left, I want to do this so he can't get an attack on Warsaw with that unit. Okay, and then they'll attack again. Use that same airplane. And we got a DD, which is bad for the Poles. It's going to have to be across the river no matter what I do, so we're going to go here. Because what that lets me do is I take the 1st Panzer, move here. This guy's not isolated, but he can't retreat. So I'm +4. I will throw in one of the airplanes, get it eliminated, move here. And then attack here. He's at -2. I throw in the airplane again. From the attack, commit. He's forced to retreat. Doesn't matter where he retreats to, because when I take Warsaw, he's conquered. Now, a lot of times I'll put something like in Lithuania or Latvia to try and threaten the Russians. But I've come to realize that even though I'm probably going to attack Hungary, I want to put it here. Because in the upcoming diplomacy phase, if the Soviets should get a political success, they could put a pro marker into Hungary, and then if you declared war on it, it would become Soviet. You wouldn't be able to touch it because you're not at war with them. You're not actively against that faction. So that's what we do there. And then the armor will move back this way. And since we know we're going to go there, these infantry will be the ones that go. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will go to here. This infantry will take this city, so that's taken care of. And we will move down here to be adjacent to Hungary. And in this airplane, we'll move down here for use next turn, hopefully. All right, now we got to go take care of Denmark. We attack here, we use the Luft that's right there. And we commit, gets a retreat. If he wants to conquer Denmark, he can. I mean, there's not a lot you can do to stop this. Go ahead and use it again. Got a DE. Now, I could move here and take Aalborg and conquer them right now. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is move to here. Now, if they want to come into Aalborg, I'll be able to strategically move a unit to the 21, 22. If he lands in Copenhagen, they'll be isolated. And then I'll be able to do things up here. And now this is a trick of the game. I'm done there. You take the 2nd Luft and you fly to here. And the reason why you do that, just if you're trying to figure out what the heck am I doing, the reason why I do that is because if he lands in Aalborg, he will not be able to strategically move into that airplane. And I'll be able to get a unit there to take care of whoever's in Aalborg. So depending on what he tries to do, he won't be able to get very far. Okay? That's the idea. I do not want him to be able to strategically move here, and hopefully I will be able to do something about it next turn. So with that, we're done. We need to save 5, so I can only do 3 airplanes. We're not going to do the voluntary, but I do want to be able to declare war. Supply all with no convoy, and we're done. Now the West has to make a decision. This is where it gets iffy. You could, the Germans don't, even with their surface action submarines, probably wouldn't be able to stop you. You could take the French unit and drop it in either Aalborg or Copenhagen, and then take the British unit and put it in the other place. But you'll be isolated. The British can't get an airplane there. The French, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cannot quite reach a space to get their aircraft up here to help, which means you'll be facing German armies and their aircraft without any support. And you'll be isolated in probably both cases. So you can try to do that, or you can say, nah, we'll wait for the Norwegian invasion and try to put like a Frenchman either in Stavanger or Trondheim and the British in the other space, and then be able to try and navigate that way. Okay? So we're not going to try to contest Denmark, at least not this turn. So there isn't really a lot to do for the West. I kind of had them all set up. If you use the historical setup, then you swap these things around so that you end up with a situation somewhat like this. But there isn't a lot we can do, so we're just going to pass. I don't know. We're fine. And in the Soviet case, well, we got Eastern Poland, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. Since we have the space, we're going to go take it. And that's all we're going to do there. We'll pass. And we're done. That's September. What's our time? 17 minutes. Okay, we're going to see if we can get through the fall here. Now, we want to change the 4th and the 3rd. And then you're going to take this one, because you have 7 left. You need 5 for diplomacy. And you don't have anything to build, so you're done. And we go to the Diplomacy Cup. Now you have 4 possible German successes. 2 area seized and a political failure is the worst one. So you've got 6, 10, 11, 12, 13. Your 4 and 13 is about as good as you can do. You could have made it 5 and 14 if you went ahead and captured Denmark. But we're saving that for if the Allies pull a political success, then maybe we can do something about it. So we pull randomly one counter, and we got a pro-axis. Now I could activate Hungary, but that's not my goal. My goal is to actually get Yugoslavia in the war. So I'm actually going to put my pro marker in Yugoslavia. Now the West has to they have to choose whether they're going to bother to pull or not. I'm going to go ahead and pull in the hopes of getting a political success. And I pulled a no event. And then the Soviets are going to take a chance to try and get an area seized. And instead they pulled a political success. So one of the things you can do with a political success, and this is one of the things I like to do here, I could remove the Yugoslavian. The Hungarian one's not going to make any difference. I could either remove the Yugoslavian, or to prevent him from getting a pro marker when I take a piece of land, I can put a pro marker in Finland. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a pro marker in Finland, in the hopes that I get an area seized, then I can take Karelia, and then they won't get a pro axis marker there. Okay? Now, let's look at the weather. The weather is fair in the cold, but poor in the where I want to do my work. So that's going to be a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I won't be able to attack them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I won't be able to get there. 6, 7, 8. But I'm going to go ahead and declare war on Hungary anyway, just so that it's there. Confirm that. Now, there's no good way to set this up. You got to put the tough guy there. You want to make sure that he can't get around the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to make sure that you're going to force him to, since it's poor, he can only do assaults. So we're trying to keep him from being able to do that. I can't not force myself to be retreated. So the only other thing to do is to make the something like that. We're not going to attack anything else. We're done with that. The UK is not going to bother giving anybody anything. It doesn't point to it. Strategic move with the Germans. Now I'm going to need both of these infantry. These 3 infantry have to go there. Question is do I need more than 1 armored unit? I don't think so. So what I'm going to do, well, he didn't bother to come after me, did he? He's not going after me in Denmark. So I can probably not have to do a strategic move this turn? Or do I want to move the armor so that it's available for next turn, because I won't be able to use it this turn. I think I'm going to put this armored unit in Vienna. All right. And we're done. And there really isn't a strategic move to do for the British. One thing I wanted to show you in the British, I always set up the home here. Because then they can't invade at 26-12 and walk into London. If they attack you in London and they get lucky and succeed and take you, then they capture London, which is a big rail hub and 4 will points, and it's harder for the Germans to pull off a big thing. The other advantage of I didn't do it. I should have done it with the West. The other thing I should have done is moved this airplane 1 more space forward, but I didn't. The Soviets are not going to do a strategic move, and we're back to the actions phase. Okay. Before I forget, you go here. Actually, you're actually better off if I put you here. Because now you're both on the C-Zone 12 and C-Zone 13. So I have airplanes on C-Zone 12 to intercept any supply runs or anything that you might do there. I'm not going to take Denmark because I don't need it quite yet. We're going to try a long shot on Hungary. I can't really get there. 3, 6. So I can't really get but a +1. I can get a +1 on him, which is all I can really do. So before I move anything, I'm going to go ahead and take the long shot. And we'll use this airplane. Oh, no, undo. This is a long shot to make this work this turn. Oh, I'm only going to, that's right, I'm -3, so I'm going to be a 0. So it's a 0 to 0. It's like a 20% chance that you get away with it. And I didn't really expect to. So what we do is we move this infantry to here. And we can go ahead and declare an assault there. 0 to -2, just for kicks. Okay. Now, up here I need to put These guys need to go to their forever homes, so I don't forget in the future. He goes there. This guy goes here. Until I'm ready to go into the Soviet Union, that's where these 3 infantry units will live. Okay, that's done. This armored unit is going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, if he really wants to run into Poland, he can do that. I'm going to put this armored unit here. And then that is going to be what I do for this turn. I'm going to pass. Skip that, confirm. Then we got the same problem we had last time. Do we really want to go and try to winter in Denmark? I'm of the opinion that the Denmark fight might not really be worth it. I am going to be able to build the Dane back, so I could put 1 unit in there just to make the Germans have to attack. But I will, whatever fleet I put up there is going to get decimated by their aircraft because they're going to outnumber me and I can't defend it. So it seems like it's a waste of resources to do that at this point. So I'm going to let it go. You guys can leave me comments in the comment section about this if you think that I should have gone ahead and contested in Denmark. The Soviets don't really have anything to do at this point. They're waiting to get another army, which then they'll build up here. All right, so they're going to pass. And we go. And we supply all no convoy, and we should be done. Now, the Germans have the ability to replenish all of their aircraft. They'll still have a point left to build their infantry. 3 infantry types. They're going to build a garrison, probably in Bremen. We'll put the 12th, I guess in Frankfurt. And we'll put the 6th in Kiel, so it can move up to be outside Aalborg. And then we'll build the Dane in Copenhagen. And then the Soviets are going to build this guy in do I want to be ready to move into Pits? Yeah, I think I'm going to put him in Vilnius. Okay. And we're done. Now we're back to the pull. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bad, 7, 8 bad, 2 good. So the Germans are a little bit behind on this, but they're going to go ahead and try to pull. They got a no event. The West doesn't want to put a political success in there, so they're going to try and pull. And they pulled a no event. And in the Soviets, so now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 good things and 4 bad, 4 not good things. 1 is really bad. We're going to take a long shot and try and pull. We pulled a no events. Now the Germans have a lot going for them. We got fair in November, so Hungary's going to fall and Yugoslavia is going to become part of the German Reich. We are not going to do do anything at this point with the Germans. We're not. It'd be nice to declare war on somebody, but I'm not set up for it. So we just have to say no thank you. Not going to bother. Strategic move with the Axis. At this point, I don't think there's really a good strategic. Oh, there is. I'm not planning on taking Alborg this turn. Oh, no, I don't want to strategic move that, do I? Yes, I do. I'm going to move this garrison to here. So I can capture these things whenever I want. And if the Allies bring somebody in, they can. There's no strategic move for the West or for the Soviets. And then the Germans. Okay. So first off, we're going to see if we can take out Hungary here. I'm going to go here and attack. We're going to use this Luft. There's no point in using the +1 there. You have to use it on the capital because that's the only thing that really matters at this point. You know, throw in another airplane. You throw in a ground support, and hope we get a good die roll. Oh, better than I could have expected. And then the Germans will attack again. Use a different airplane. +5 to 0. They should be able to force at least a retreat. Yep. And then we take the hex. Hungary is conquered. Now, I could remove Finland, but I really want to get Yugoslavia. So I'm going to take a chance on losing Finland altogether. And now having Yugoslavia here, we're thinking about going ahead and moving down here and possibly going after Bulgaria. So we're going to put somebody's got to sit and split. Somebody needs to sit probably here. I'm going to put the other good infantry here. And a garrison. Maybe on the Italian border for kicks. And we'll have him sit in Nice, maybe? Okay. Now the German armor. This has got to be an infantry deal, so the German armor needs to get back. This German armor goes on a run this way. We're going to have the 10th Infantry capture that city and then move down here because they're going to want to help them as soon as we can. I don't think I need 2 German infantry over there, so this guy needs to get on a rail line so that I can get him going. Do I have any? Don't have anything to build, so I'm fine here. Frankfurt, we can just go ahead and move to here for the future. Okay, and I'm done. All right, so the Germans are not coming down here to play, so I'm going to actually move this aircraft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This aircraft's going to go to Vichy, I think. Or should it be... No, not Vichy. Sorry. This one gets placed here. It covers most of the front. Okay. And we're waiting on the Norway thing. I might end up having to move the BEF into France. Depends on how things go with Italy here. All right, we're going to pass for this turn. And then the Soviets are going to hope for a political success or a German political failure. They're going to pass here. Now the Germans spend 3, 6, 7, and 8. And they're all set. Yeah. Set. Now the Germans have 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 out of 8 for a success. And they pulled a no event. The British do not want to take a chance on pulling the political failure, so they're actually going to put back in no events. It's harder on the Russians, but and then the Soviets will try to get not a political failure. They pulled a political success. So this is going to be a different game. Finland is now Soviet, which mobilizes the northern troops. We're going to put 1 infantry in Murmansk, and the other one is going to go right here on a rail line so I can get him to go someplace good. So things are going to be way different than normal here. We have to allow for German possible intervention here. Put 1 there. This guy will sit in Helsinki. This one will be northern Finland. And this one will be western Finland here. Okay, we're all done. And the Soviets have talked the Finns into becoming part of them, which historically never would have happened. Poor weather everywhere. We are in December of 1939. I don't think anything's going to happen here. So we're going to pass on declaring war. I don't need to give them any points. I guess I could have gone after Bulgaria. No, I want to make sure I have things. No, we don't need to give anybody any points. We don't need to give anybody any points. And the Axis can do a strategic move. They're going to go ahead and move the 1st Panzer to Aachen. Get ready for the invasion of the West next spring. Okay. The West, not a lot to do here. We could strategically move the French to Le Havre and bring the British in. And we both can leave from Sea Zone 10 to go to Norway. Why don't we do that? So I'm going to move him to Le Havre. The British, or the Soviets, need to find this guy here, who's way far away from the front. And we want to bring him down here somewhere to be an extra reserve on this front. Okay. I think. Now, the Germans will get this infantry to here. Yugoslavs are going to put this guy here. For movement purposes. Over here. bring the 6th down to here. Now, do I have things to build there? Yeah, I have 2 points to build, okay. This guy can get all the way to here. And then the armored unit will go sit in his Winter War home. And that will be it. Do I want to take the Danes out? What's the cup look like? I don't have a lot of successes available. I only have 2. There's 1 no event, 2, 3 no events. 3, 6, 9 would be 1/3 chance if I put a pro axis marker in there right now. That's an interesting problem. I think I don't want to have to deal with this garbage going forward. So let's just get this done. Conquer Denmark. And we move back to here. 1st Infantry, capture the port. And move back to Kiel. We'll go ahead and leave the 2nd Luft in Aalborg for the future. I don't think I have anything else to do. They're in their forever home, they're in their forever home. And when I get another airplane built, then I can send this guy to down here to help try and take out the Bulgarians. Okay. I think we're going to go after the Bulgarians to try and weasel in Bucharest. All right, so we'll pass. And once again, in the west, there's not a lot to do. So diplomacy did not go the Germans' way. Finland is now a Soviet satellite. The west really does not have a whole lot of movement. They're going to do this with him as a confirmed escort. I'm going to go here. Yay. And then the British naval transport with a confirmed escort is going to go here. And then they're going to end their turn back here at Brest. And then the home fleet is going to go to its forever home at Edinburgh. Why is it not doing this? All right, be that way. There we go. Okay, and we're done. And the reason why you leave home fleet in Edinburgh is it means it's always available to do the interception in Sea Zone 10 if they try to invade England. We'll use the French convoy. Soviets. I don't really have anything to do with them until I get some of these countries. So I'm done. Not getting many area seized markers here. Germans will replace their aircraft. They've got a couple infantry to build here in a second, garrison and infantry. They'll have more than enough points to do everything they need to do. The British can afford to replenish. The French can replenish. And we're done. The Germans. Okay, we'll go ahead and build the 9th in Dusseldorf. And we'll build the 2nd garrison down here at Frankfurt. And now it's the big test for the Germans. Can they get a political success? They pulled a political success. Now you got to make a decision. Getting a political success like that, you can start working on Italy, or you can try to go for the Scandinavian gambit, which means going and trying to get Scandinavia right away. Or you could try to snatch Bessarabia from the USSR. It's a real hard choice. My personal belief is since they have Finland, that we're going to need to put like real German troops up here if we go for the Scandinavian thing. But I always like having the Swedes to help me take out Norway, so I'm going to go for that. Now, the West, there's no political successes for them. All they can do is deny the Germans or help the Soviets or get a political failure, which would be horrific because then Sweden would go German. So we're going to actually just put 2 no events in. And we'll let the Soviets be the idiots that pull the political failure, trying to get an area seized. And I think they just pulled a pro-axis. So we made it harder for the Germans to succeed at anything in the future. And we confirm, and we are now in January of 1940, and that's where we're going to end it. So if you liked this little bitty playthrough here through the first 4 months of the war, please hit the like button on the video. Please leave me comments. Let me know if you think I should have actually fought for Denmark with the West. I tend to think it's a waste of resources. I'll fight for ports in Norway to keep the Germans busy up there because it's farther away from the Western Front, and it's harder to get the airplanes to shift between the two for the Germans. So that's where I usually, if I'm going to do it, I try to fight there. Definitely a twist of fate. The Finns have gone to the Soviets, so the Germans will not have a northern front against Leningrad unless they make one by getting Sweden on board and shipping some German troops up there, being supplied by their convoy. So that could be an interesting twist to the battle. The Balkans are pretty much not going anywhere. There's been I don't think I haven't pulled an area seized yet in 4 tries. So that's usually not the case. With 3 people pulling 4 times, you usually end up with at least 1 area seized. So we haven't gotten any of those, but we've also depleted the Diplomacy Cup down to 1 pro-axis, 5 no events, 2 area seized, and a political failure. So the Germans are very hard-pressed to try and do anything here for the next couple of turns. They can set themselves up to be able to go after Norway and then activate Sweden by conquering it, and then moving troops into Trondheim. That's what they're going to try to do. The Western Allies, there's nothing we can do here except get a political failure, so we won't be doing it. The Soviets might take the chance at it to try and get areas seized, but they aren't going to be doing it. I'm not sure the Germans are going to pull either. They might try to put a political success and a no event in there to try and tempt the West and the Soviets to pull, and maybe they'll get the other thing. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's for the next video. I am trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the summer, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Helps keep me going, and I just have a personal goal of trying to get to 500 subscribers. I'm at about 350, I think. So I got a ways to go. I only got a couple months to get there, so every subscription would help. If you do subscribe, I strongly suggest that you hit the notify bell. You'll be notified when I'm uploading videos, when I'm scheduling streams, which I'm doing some computer role-playing games right now on my streams. And you'll also get to participate in polls when I put up a poll to say, what do you want to see me do next? So you have a say in what comes on the channel somewhat. Also, there should be a link in the description for my Dren608 Plays Discord server, which is a place for you to give me ideas of what you want to see me do on the channel, or if you want to leave me hints about role-playing, the computer streams that I'm doing or whatever, but you don't want to spoil it for others in comments. You can go to the Discord server and drop something, and so on. So, hope to see you guys there. Hope you enjoyed this. Please, like I said, leave a like, leave comments, and subscribe. And I'm Dren608. Until we meet again, stay safe, and bye-bye. How do I turn this off? 11?